Hey there, it's another beautiful day. Let's watch some stuff. Well, it looks like this election season is starting off strong.
So I just saw this in the news. Multiple dangerous asteroids all approaching the Earth at about the same time. Yeah, for the past couple days till the next couple days. From about October 24th till the end of the month, these things are just skeet scat and shad dabbing all around the Earth. And you know what it got me to thinking of? Another asteroid that's been hanging around the Earth. What they're calling the second moon or mini moon. If you don't know about it, I made about 5 videos. You can go look them up. So is someone trying to tell me that it's just a coincidence that during the same time we get this mini moon, which is an asteroid, we get the busiest month for asteroids in just about recorded history? And let's not forget what else has been popping up this month. We've had more UFO sightings, at least what I've seen, in pictures, videos, news reports, than any other time that I can remember. I know there have been a lot of UFO sightings throughout the past couple years, but I'm talking about a bunch in the past 2 weeks. So my question to you is, do you think this swarm of asteroids that just happens to be coming around the Earth at the same time that we have a mini moon and a bunch of UFO sightings is just some kind of coincidence? Or maybe is it something else? Let me know in the comment section, Booshkies. Shabadoo!
Now, I've read that in October we have what is called Orionids. I'm pretty sure I just botched that, but it's debris from Halley's Comet, and that sucker passes every I don't know how many years. As far as all of this other stuff happening, I think it might just be a coincidence. I know we're conspiracy theorists. We don't believe in coincidences, but maybe.
Y'all seen this video right here yet? I know what you're thinking. It looks CGI. This is in Puerto Rico or Costa Rica, man. Hold on a second. Watch closely. It's gonna start blinking and doing all kinds of stuff, man. Very, very strange. You see what I'm talking about? That's crazy, if it's real. No, I'm not alleging that it's real or alleging that it's not, but let the video speak for itself, peeps.
Okay, that was pretty cool. I had not seen that footage yet, and I think that might be real. I think it might be real. Hey, thanks so much for stopping by. To my new viewers, welcome. To those of you that have been here for a while, welcome back. Please help out my channel and hit that like button for me. And if you haven't already, won't you consider subscribing? Then come on back, because I'm making a new episode every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Oh, do you guys remember this? This picture gave me chills, dude. Do you guys remember this? Clark County School District totally made us drink this stuff. The bubblegum drank. Bro. This was for GATE. We had to drink this in GATE. Dude, what was that? Oh man, everything. This picture is exactly how it was. They lined us up, bro. And you just, who knows? Did you guys have the dizzy juice? Comment below if you remember this. Look at the little cups. It's the same little cups, dude. This is crazy.
There was a little bit of misinformation in there. Yes, it did taste like bubble gum, but it wasn't a dizzy drink. In fact, you didn't even drink it at all. And it wasn't only in the GATE classes, which stands for Gifted and Talented Education. I was in GATE. A lot of good it did. But it was in all of the classes, like twice a year. They would come in and they'd pump the little cups and you'd put it in your mouth and put your head down and for 30 seconds and you'd spit it back in a little cup, put the napkin in there and throw it away. Does anybody else remember that? That stuff was fluoride. The crap they put in our water. For why? I don't know. We may never know.
Listen, what if I told you there's a city deep under the sea, a whole metropolis with people going about their day oblivious to the outside world, and the elites have convinced everyone that the world they live in is like an infinite loop. They say that if you travel far enough in one direction, you'll just end up right back where you started. Sounds like something out of a video game, right? But here's the thing, nobody even tries it. Why? Because they've all been brainwashed. I mean, educated at these childhood training camps to believe that there's nothing left to explore. They're taught that every inch of the world has already been mapped out, discovered, conquered, and they tell us, hey, no need to check, we've already figured it all out for you. But here's where it gets even crazier. They've actually forbidden anyone from going near the edge. That's right, apparently it's all for environmental reasons. But still no one suspects a thing. That's how indoctrinated they are. They say we need to protect these areas for the sake of the planet. Yeah, right. Convenient, isn't it? It's the perfect excuse to stop anyone from getting too close to what's really out there. Imagine, just for a second, that everything they've been told about the world is part of a much bigger plan to keep you locked inside this mental cage. They've built this narrative, this loop that you can't escape from, so you won't even bother looking for answers. And the scariest part, most of them don't even question it. I'm going to go ahead and say this is just a joke for entertainment purposes.
All right, I love this page so much that I'm going to go ahead and do a shameless plug. That's right, it's time for this week's shameless plug. This person doesn't need my help. They're doing very well for themselves, but I really like their content. It's super awesome, crazy entertaining, and it's totally appropriately named Genius Fiction. Go check them out. They're on TikTok. Absolutely awesome. I freaking love it. I'm probably going to bring some more to you. So if you have to watch a couple multiple times because I show them to you after you go and watch them, we'll deal with that. One more time. Genius Fiction on TikTok. Absolutely love it. Thank you so much for sticking around for this week's shameless plug. Okay, that was top-notch creepy. Yeah, I'm not sure where I would file that. If I think that's real or fake, I'm not sure yet. But I was definitely creepy.
You know, you wouldn't think that it could get any freaking worse for the people in Western North Carolina, but guess what? The government said, hold my beer. So I was tagged in those videos yesterday where they were talking about DCS coming in and threatening to take these children from their parents because they don't have adequate housing. So I had to do my due diligence because I don't want to spread misinformation. So I got a hold of my family and I got a hold of friends that live in that area, in Yancey, in Spruce Pine, up in Burnsville. And I asked them, I said, please, for the love of God, tell me that this is not true. It's freaking true. So I'll give you one instance that I know of that my friend saw with her own eyes. It's a small trailer park, okay, in Spruce Pine. Looks like it did day one all this happened. Nothing's been done. Nobody's been there to help these people clean up, okay? My friend and her community are doing everything they possibly freaking can to help these people. So she tells me that FEMA and Red Cross pull out of the area, right? Which is fine. They weren't doing anything anyways. They were just taking up space. But as soon as they pull out, DCS comes in and starts evaluating these parents. And starts telling these parents, if you don't get adequate housing, we're going to have to take your kids into state custody. DCS, explain to me how this is going to happen. Explain to me. Because every time we try to bring a tiny home, an RV, something for these people to live in, they get stopped. They're trying to make them have certain requirements. They're trying to give them restrictions. They're trying to make them get permits. Like, what in the hell? And then on top of that, explain, do you understand that ground, that land is saturated, it's unstable. So you're very limited on where you can put, if we get anything for these people to live in. Where are we going to put it? So between the restrictions, the requirements, the permits, and then the freaking land not being stable, what are they supposed to do?
I saw multiple videos on this, and I don't know if it's actually what's happening, but what a terrible situation to be in. First, everything is just devastated by this hurricane, and then FEMA comes in and does what they did, and then you're left. There's nobody else there, and then DCS is like, hey, we're gonna take your kids. What? How absolutely traumatizing that must be to these poor people. And not only that, but the state is like, oh, we're going to buy your land for next to nothing. It's a horrible situation. And if that is happening, my heart goes out to those poor people.
If you drink or cook with tap water, I'm going to show you what you're putting into your body. This is a water distillation machine. It boils the water. It leaves all the impurities. This is what you're putting into your body if you are not filtering your water with a water distillation machine. Do you see that? Obviously, it's been a few days since I cleaned this thing out. But the good thing about it is that it can be that dirty, and you're still getting pure water because you're getting no dissolved solids when you get distilled water. It's the best water you can put in your body. If you're having any kind of disaster or anything like that, or if you just want regular filtered water, this is what you want. It's the cheapest way to filter your water, and you're getting the cleanest, purest water that you can.
I know he was doing a commercial, but I wanted to show you all the nasty stuff in his little machine there. And that's the stuff that's in our municipal water. Yeah, it's gross.
Nobody has the right to live their lives being protected from offence or from insult or from hurt feelings. It is an occupational hazard of living in society. And if you really can't take it, become a hermit.
I really think that this whole political correctness and woke ideology has gotten this society so afraid of words. You can't say words because somebody's going to get offended and you're going to get in trouble because it's crap. It's crap. We're going to talk about that whole Hinchcliffe thing that happened the other day. We talked about it a little bit, how he said the joke about Puerto Rico. Check this stuff out.
Eso que ves ahí más Sí, that was the landfill for the town of Arecibo. That's one of the landfills that might have to close next year because it's almost at capacity. The majority of the landfills in Puerto Rico are almost at capacity.
La realidad es que en Puerto Rico somos el país más pequeño del Caribe, pero somos uno de los que más basura generamos. Si nosotros seguimos generando basura en la manera que lo estamos haciendo, de aquí a 5 años van a cerrar más de la mitad. ¿Qué vamos a hacer entonces con la basura?
And that was 4 years ago. That's exactly what Tony Hinchcliffe was talking about. They have a huge waste management problem in Puerto Rico. I'm pretty sure they're one of our territories, so shouldn't we be doing something about that instead of taking that one little line and turning it into a smear campaign? Because I'm pretty sure this also happened.
Oh, would you look at that?
Yeah, well.
Would you look at that?
Yeah, there's a few more blemishes on the car.
Oh my gosh, just look at it.
The car is not perfect.
Just look at it. Just look at it.
Yeah, well.
What the heck is that? I mean, just get a look at that.
A cop.
See? They were talking about it too, but they were doing nothing, doing zero. Instead, they're turning it into a racist thing, a smear campaign, when in reality, he was talking about the waste management problem. And what I'm super pissed off about is that Trump is like backing off. He's distancing himself from Tony Hinchcliffe, but what he should do is he should embrace it. And he should be like, hey, there's a problem in Puerto Rico. We're going to do something about the problem in Puerto Rico. That would have been brilliant.
We have to be the most simple-minded, gullible people on the planet. Like, anything that gets said, we run with it because Massa said it. It's so funny because even my people, you know, I'm looking at it all through Facebook and I'm seeing all this, we stand with Puerto Rico. I'm assuming because of the Madison Square Gardens rally and the comedian talking about Puerto Rico. But before y'all get to post and talk about who you stand with, maybe you should research and even understand who you're even talking about. Because the gentleman who made the comment, the comedian, is also a huge environmental activist. And he's using comedy to bring light to a for real problem and a real tragedy that's happening right now in Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico does not recycle at all. The island has seen a huge influx of people from the mainland going there. Now they're overwhelmed with population, and now they're overwhelmed with trash, and their landfills are overfilled and trash is everywhere. But because you heard it delivered in a comedic form, no different than Dave Chappelle. Chappelle can say something super shocking in a comedic performance, but what he's talking about is dead truth. Like, oh snap, you laugh and you be like, ooh, like, oh snap. It's the same situation. Yes, Puerto Rico's a beautiful place, got beautiful people, but Puerto Rico got a problem. And if the only way to get you to think about Puerto Rico is to bring it up in a joke, now y'all are talking about it. So now you do your part and go research it.
I had no idea that Tony Hinchcliffe was a huge environmentalist, and I think that's fantastic. That's wonderful news. Everybody should do their research, and everybody should just hold up a second. We're not turning everything into a racist comment. Look at it, read into it, find out what the message is. Because there is a message that is way bigger than what the media is turning this into.
What if I told you that trying to control your dreams is messing with a boundary we're not supposed to touch? Lucid dreaming isn't just some simple bedtime party trick. No, you go to sleep and suddenly, boom, you're in control. You can do whatever you want. Fly around, live out fantasies, go wherever your mind takes you. But think about it, when we sleep, it's almost like entering another dimension. You're in this state where you're vulnerable. Not only physically, but spiritually. You're not here anymore, but you're not gone either. It's almost like a type of unalive state, and in that state, things can reach you. Why do you think so many religions and cultures have prayers or rituals before sleep? It's all about protection, a barrier, because when we go to sleep, it's like crossing into a whole other zone. But lucid dreaming, that's the opposite. It's like pushing on that barrier, trying to pierce it. You think it's all fun and games, maybe a chance to explore your mind, until it's not. You're tempting whatever's on the other side. And if something does come through, let's just say it might not be a friendly encounter. People talk about night terrors or sleep paralysis like they're random. But what if those moments of sheer terror are actually a peek behind the curtain, like something showing itself to you, a consequence of you playing around where you shouldn't be? You think, you're about to have some fun controlling your dreams, and maybe you do for a while. But then they reveal themselves, and once that door's open, it doesn't always close so easily. So before you decide to dip your toe into that other world, maybe ask yourself if you're ready to meet what's really waiting on the other side. I'm going to go ahead and say this is just a joke for entertainment purposes.
I don't believe I've ever had a lucid dream. I've had sleep paralysis, and that's terrifying. But lucid dreaming sounds a little freaky as well. But I guess if you know that you're in control is when it's okay. But it's learning how to be in control that frightens me, which is probably why I'm not trying to do it at all.
Cancer originated from damage to mitochondria, forcing the cell into a fermentation mechanism to survive. So the two fermentation fuels that drive the majority, if not all, cancers are a sugar fermentation and an amino acid fermentation. And without the glucose and glutamine, no cancer cell can survive. All of the major chronic diseases that we are currently suffering from is the result of excessive amounts of carbohydrates in the diet. The very treatments that are used, radiation, as well as temozolomide, they free up massive amounts of glucose and glutamine in the tumor microenvironment, making long-term survival very, very rare. Well, I published a clear paper on how the radiation breaks apart the glutamine-glutamate cycle in the brain, freeing up massive amounts of glutamine. Steroids they give these patients increases blood sugar. The two fuels necessary for causing cancer cells to grow out of control are made available in abundant quantities by the very treatments that we're doing to these patients. And cancer cells can't burn ketones or fats. They only can burn glucose and glutamine. And actually, we still don't know the mechanism by which ketogenic diets block epilepsy, but it became crystal clear as how this diet could stop cancer growth.
In 1921 is when ketogenic diet was used to treat epilepsy. Over 100 years ago, we were using diet, your food that you put in your face, to treat medical conditions. And now we use pills that don't actually do a very good job. I know people that have had epilepsy and they're taking tons of medication and they still have seizures. But it's your diet. They tell you to eat all of these carbs. The food industry makes money, and then you get sick, and then the drug industry makes money, and then you get even sicker, and then they can give you radiation treatment for your cancer, and then there's more money. Oh, it's gross.
You're very, very good at giving up red meat, eggs, butter, and other dairy products and chicken skin. You're going to be one of those people who are highly likely to get Alzheimer's disease. Remember, 40 years ago, Alzheimer's disease did not occur, even by another name. It only became recognized as a disease, a new disease, in 1979. And that's because by that time, people have been giving up cholesterol for about 25 years. Well, they're projecting now that between now and 2025, 14 million Americans are going to die of Alzheimer's disease. 25 years ago, only about 250,000 died of it. 25 years before that, it was zero. It's not a genetic disease. There's been some great studies on cholesterol and Alzheimer's disease. We've actually eliminated Alzheimer's disease in animals some 60 years ago with proper supplementation of cholesterol, proper supplementation of the omega-3 essential fatty acids and the right ratios of omega-3s and 6s. And also, we learned that by using actually high doses of antioxidants, that we could in fact prevent, significantly reduce the risk of Alzheimer's disease. And when you have it, you can actually get back function.
How freaking disgusting is that? This footage is pretty old, right? And what is being done? Nothing. They continue with the food pyramid BS, and they keep pushing out all this nasty food. Oh my God, it's pissing me off. It is really making me mad because something can be done, and nothing is being done because of the money. It's always the money. It's always the money. It's disgusting. Oh yeah, the Dodgers won the World Series, and Angelino's reacted in the usual fashion.
Hombre, plebada, la gente está bien loca, la neta, no soporto, pero aquí estaba yo en la área y pues me dejaré y ni modo. No, these people are crazy, guys.
Making me all embarrassed to live in California right now, because that was just a tiny percentage of what happened. It was a disaster. And yeah, not my team.
Back on the voter rolls. And what's even more astounding is the vast majority of these folks had presented immigration documents confirming that they were non-citizens, and we recently had that verified by federal authorities. So here we are with a judge saying, put people back on the voter rolls who you know are non-citizens. And this is under a law in Virginia that's been in effect since 2006. It has been applied by Republican and Democrat governors alike into this 90-day period. And here we are 11 days before a presidential election, and a federal judge is ordering them back on the voter rolls. It's astounding to me that this could possibly happen. I mean, listen, common sense says non-citizens aren't on the voter rolls, but the Constitution and the law say it as well. And that's why we are immediately petitioning the Fourth Circuit for an emergency stay here on this injunction. And we will immediately go to the U.S. Supreme Court if necessary.
This is happening all over the place. And we're at, what, like 4.5 days left now until we know who's won this election, unless something else goes absolutely crazy, which really wouldn't surprise me.
Former President Donald Trump is suing CBS News for $10 billion over what he is claiming was deceitful doctoring of an interview with Harris. Now, Fox News Digital obtained the affidavit exclusively today, and I have it right here to read to you. I did want to read you a part of this. I'm also just going to pull up some of this quote here. As you can see, it says, "This action concerns CBS's partisan and unlawful acts of election and voter interference through malicious, deceptive, and substantial news distortion calculated to confuse, deceive, and mislead the public, and attempt to tip the scales in favor of the Democratic Party as the heated 2024 presidential election, which President Trump is leading." That's what this says. They're claiming.
So Kamala was asked a question and she spit out some word salad, and they just took a little piece of it and just moved it around and put a different answer in to the question. So that is definitely misleading. It really is. And I hope they freaking stop. The media needs to just stop. Report the news.
There's a sixth grade teacher standing at the head of her class. She asks her students, does anyone here have a story with a moral at the end? No one raises their hand. Right before she's about to tell her own story, a little boy raises his hand. Great, Jimmy, please tell the story. So he stands up and says, my dad told me this story. He said there was a little bird flying through the air and it was very, very cold. In fact, it was so cold that its wings froze and it fell from the sky. As it laid there in the field about to die, a cow came along and pooped right on top of that bird. And at first the bird thought, man, what luck I have. But then it quickly realized that the warmth from the poop was starting to defrost and save that bird's life. So in just joy, the bird started singing as loud as it could. Well, along came a cat, discovered the bird and dug out the bird and ate the thing alive. The teacher jumps in and says, my God, what is the moral of this story? And the little boy says, well, my dad said, 1, not everyone that shits on you is your enemy. 2, not everyone that gets you out of shit is your friend. 3, when you're in deep shit, keep your mouth shut.
I thought that was a great story, and I think that's a really good place to end it. If you haven't already, check out the J.D. Vance interview with Joe Rogan. I haven't watched the whole thing yet, but what I've seen so far is pretty great. There's still time between now and then for Kamala to sit down and do a little interview with him. I think it would be fantastic. But as usual, thank you so much for sharing your time with me. Please come on back in a couple of days. We're going to watch some new stuff. I'll say different things, and it's going to be fantastic. Until then, have a wonderful day.